02 Noch Noah. Noch Noah, Parashah 2, Torah Bereshit Genesis 6 9 11 32, Haftarah Yesha Isaiah 54 1 55 5, Pirit Hadashah Mattityahu, Matthew 20 36 44, Luke 17 26 37, Torah Bereshit Genesis 6 9 11 32, 6 9. Here is the history of Noch. In his generation, Noch was a man righteous and wholehearted. Noch walked with God. Noch fathered 3 sons, Shem, Ham and Japheth. The earth was corrupt before God, the earth was filled with violence. God saw the earth, and, yes, it was corrupt. For all living beings had corrupted their ways on the earth. God said to Noch, "The end of all living beings has come before me, for because of them the earth is filled with violence. I will destroy them along with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. You are to make the ark with rooms and cover it with pitch both outside and inside. Here is how you are to build it. The length of the ark is to be 450 feet, its width 75 feet and its height 45 feet. You are to make an opening for daylight in the ark 18 inches below its roof, put a door in its side, and build it with lower, second and third decks. Then I myself will bring the flood of water over the earth to destroy from under heaven every living thing that breathes. Everything on earth will be destroyed. But I will establish my covenant with you. You will come into the ark, you, your sons, your wife and your sons' wives with you. From everything living, from each kind of living being, you are to bring 2 into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They are to be male and female. Of each kind of bird, each kind of livestock, and each kind of animal creeping on the ground, 2 are to come to you, so that they can be kept alive. Also take from all the kinds of food that are eaten, and collect it for yourself. It is to be food for you and for them. This is what Noch did. He did all that God ordered him to do. 7:1 Adonai said to Noch, "Come into the ark, you and all your household, for I have seen that you alone in this generation are righteous before me. Of every clean animal you are to take 7 couples, and of the animals that are not clean, 1 couple. Also of the birds in the air take 7 couples in order to preserve their species throughout the earth. For in 7 more days I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. I will wipe out every living thing that I have made from the face of the earth." Noch did all that Adonai ordered him to do. Noch was 600 years old when the water flooded the earth. Noch went into the ark with his sons, his wife and his sons' wives, because of the flood waters. Of clean animals, of animals that are not clean, of birds, and of everything that creeps on the ground, couples, male and female, went into Noch in the ark, as God had ordered Noch. After 7 days the water flooded the earth. On the 17th day of the 2nd month of the 600th year of Noch's life all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the sky were opened. It rained on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On that same day Noch entered the ark with Shem, Ham and Japheth the sons of Noch, Noch's wife and the 3 wives of his sons accompanying them. They, and every animal of every species, all the livestock of every species, every animal that creeps on the ground of every species, and every bird of every species, all sorts of winged creatures. They went into Noch in the ark, couples from every kind of living thing that breathes. Those that entered went in, male and female, from every kind of living being, as God had ordered him. And Adonai shut him inside. The flood was 40 days on the earth. The water grew high and floated the ark, so that it was lifted up off the earth. The water overflowed the earth and grew deeper, until the ark floated on the surface of the water. The water overpowered the earth mightily. All the high mountains under the entire sky were covered. The water covered the mountains by more than 22.5 feet. All living beings that moved on the earth perished: birds, livestock, other animals, insects, and every human being, everything in whose nostrils was the breath of the spirit of life. Whatever was on dry land died. He wiped out every living thing on the surface of the ground, not only human beings, but livestock, creeping animals and birds in the air. They were wiped out from the earth. Only Noch was left, along with those who were with him in the ark. The water held power over the earth for 150 days. 8:1 God remembered Noch, every living thing and all the livestock with him in the ark. So God caused a wind to pass over the earth, and the water began to go down. Also the fountains of the deep and the windows of the sky were stopped. The rain from the sky was restrained, and the water came back from completely covering the earth. It was after 150 days that the water went down. On the 17th day of the 7th month the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The water kept going down until the 10th month. On the first day of the 10th month the tops of the mountains were seen. After 40 days Noach opened the window of the ark which he had built. And he sent out a raven, which flew back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove, to see if the water had gone from the surface of the ground. But the dove found no place for her feet to rest, so she returned to him in the ark, because the water still covered the whole earth. He put out his hand, took her and brought her into him in the ark. He waited another 7 days and again sent the dove out from the ark. The dove came into him in the evening, and there in her mouth was a freshly plucked olive leaf, so Noach knew that the water had cleared from the earth. He waited yet another 7 days and sent out the dove, and she didn't return to him any more. By the first day of the 1st month of the 601st year the water had dried up from off the earth. So Noach removed the covering of the ark and looked, and, yes, the surface of the ground was dry. It was on the 27th day of the 2nd month that the earth was dry. God said to Noach, "Go out from the ark, you, your wife, your sons and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing you have with you, birds, livestock and every animal that creeps on the earth, so that they can swarm on the earth, be fruitful and multiply on the earth." So Noach went out with his sons, his wife and his sons' wives, every animal, every creeping thing and every bird, whatever moves on the earth, according to their families, went out of the ark. Noach built an altar to Adonai. Then he took from every clean animal and every clean bird, and he offered burnt offerings on the altar. Adonai smelled the sweet aroma, and Adonai said in his heart, "I will never again curse the ground because of humankind, since the imaginings of a person's heart are evil from his youth. Nor will I ever again destroy all living things, as I have done, so long as the earth exists, so in time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night will not cease." 9:1 God blessed Noach and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful, multiply and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will be upon every wild animal, every bird in the air, every creature populating the ground, and all the fish in the sea, they have been handed over to you. Every moving thing that lives will be food for you, just as I gave you green plants before, so now I give you everything, only flesh with its life, which is its blood, you are not to eat. I will certainly demand an accounting for the blood of your lives. I will demand it from every animal and from every human being. I will demand from every human being an accounting for the life of his fellow human being. Whoever sheds human blood, by a human being will his own blood be shed. For God made human beings in his image, and you people, be fruitful, multiply, swarm on the earth and multiply on it." God spoke to Noach and his sons with him. He said, "As for me, I am here with establishing my covenant with you, with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock and every wild animal with you, all going out of the ark, every animal on earth. I will establish my covenant with you that never again will all living beings be destroyed by the waters of a flood, and there will never again be a flood to destroy the earth." God added, "Here is the sign of the covenant I am making between myself and you and every living creature with you, for all generations to come. I am putting my rainbow in the cloud. It will be there as a sign of the covenant between myself and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth, and the rainbow is seen in the cloud, I will remember my covenant which is between myself and you and every living creature of any kind, and the water will never again become a flood to destroy all living beings. The rainbow will be in the cloud, so that when I look at it, I will remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of any kind on the earth." God said to Noach, "This is the sign of the covenant which I have established between myself and every living creature on the earth." The sons of Noach who went out from the ark were Shem, Ham and Japheth. Ham is the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noach, and the whole earth was populated by them. Noach, a farmer, was the first to plant a vineyard. He drank so much of the wine that he got drunk and lay uncovered in his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father shamefully exposed, went out and told his two brothers. Shem and Japheth took a cloak, put it over both their shoulders, and, walking backward, went in and covered their naked father. Their faces were turned away, so that they did not see their father lying there shamefully exposed. When Noach awoke from his wine, he knew what his youngest son had done to him. He said, "Cursed be Canaan, he will be a servant of servants to his brothers." Then he said, "Blessed be Adonai, the God of Shem, Canaan will be their servant. May God enlarge Japheth. He will live in the tents of Shem, but Canaan will be their servant." After the flood Noach lived 350 years. In all, Noach lived 950 years, then he died. 10:1 Here is the genealogy of the sons of Noach: Shem, Ham and Japheth, sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Yavan, Tuval, Meshach and Tiras. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Rephat and Togarmah. The sons of Yavan were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim and Dodanim. From these the islands of the nations were divided into their lands, each according to its language, according to their families, in their nations. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mitzrayim, Put and Canaan. The sons of Kushworas were Havilah, Savta, Rama and Savtka. The sons of Rama were Shvara and Dedan. Cush fathered Nimrod, who was the first powerful ruler on earth. He was a mighty hunter before Adonai. This is why people say, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before Adonai. His kingdom began with Bavel, Erech, Akkad and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Asher went out from that land and built Nineveh, the city rich of it, Kelach, and Resen between Nineveh and Kelach, that one is the great city. Mitzrayim fathered Eludim, the Anamim, the Elhavim, the Naphtuchim, the Patrusim, the Kaslachim, from whom came the Pelishtim, and the Caphtorim. Canaan fathered Sidon his firstborn, Het, the Yevusi, the Amori, the Girgashi, the Hivi, the Arki, the Sini, the Arvadi, the Tzmeri and the Hamati. Afterwards, the families of the Kenani were dispersed. The border of the Kenani was from Sidon, as you go toward Jirah, to Ezer, as you go toward Estom, Sodom, Amorah, Gomorrah, Admah and Sephoim, to Lisha. These were the descendants of Ham, according to their families and languages, in their lands and in their nations. Children were also born to Shem, ancestor of all the descendants of Ever and older brother of Japheth. The sons of Shem were Elam, Ashar, Arpachshad, Lud and Aram. The sons of Aram were Utz, Hul, Geta and Mash. Arpachshad fathered Shalach, and Shalach fathered Ever. To Ever were born two sons. One was given the name Peleg, division, because during his lifetime the earth was divided. His brother's name was Yoktan. Yoktan fathered Almadad, Sheleph, Hatzamavet, Yerich, Hadoram, Uzal, Dikla, Oval, Avimeel, Sheva, Ophir, Havilah and Yavav. All these were the sons of Yoktan. Their territory stretched from Mesha, as you go toward Isfar, to the mountain in the east. These were the descendants of Shem, according to their families and languages, in their lands and in their nations. These were the families of the sons of Noach, according to their generations, in their nations. From these the nations of the earth were divided up after the flood. 11:1 The whole earth used the same language, the same words. It came about that as they traveled from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and lived there. They said to one another, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them in the fire." So they had bricks for building stone and clay for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let's build ourselves a city with a tower that is its top reaching up into heaven, so that we can make a name for ourselves and not be scattered all over the earth." Adonai came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. Adonai said, "Look, the people are united, they all have a single language, and see what they are starting to do. At this rate, nothing they set out to accomplish will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse their language, so that they won't understand each other's speech." So from there Adonai scattered them all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. For this reason it is called Babel, confusion, because there Adonai confused the language of the whole earth, and from there Adonai scattered them all over the earth. Here is the genealogy of Shem. Shem was 100 years old when he fathered Arpachshad 2 years after the flood. After Arpachshad was born, Shem lived another 500 years and had sons and daughters. Arpachshad lived 35 years and fathered Shalach. After Shalach was born, Arpachshad lived another 403 years and had sons and daughters. Shalach lived 30 years and fathered Ever. After Ever was born, Shalach lived another 403 years and had sons and daughters. Ever lived 34 years and fathered Peleg. After Peleg was born, Ever lived another 430 years and had sons and daughters. Peleg lived 30 years and fathered Reu. After Reu was born, Peleg lived another 209 years and had sons and daughters. Reu lived 32 years and fathered Isrug. After Isrug was born, Reu lived another 270 years and had sons and daughters. Isrug lived 30 years and fathered Nachah. After Nachah was born, Isrug lived another 200 years and had sons and daughters. Nachah lived 29 years and fathered Terach. After Terach was born, Nachah lived another 119 years and had sons and daughters. Terach lived 70 years and fathered Avram, Nachah and Haran. Here is the genealogy of Terach. Terach fathered Avram, Nachah and Haran fathered Lot. Haran died before his father Terach in the land where he was born, in Ur of the Kasdim. Mafti, Then Avram and Nachah took wives for themselves. The name of Avram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nachah's wife was Milcah the daughter of Haran. He was the father of Milcah and of Yesha. Sarai was barren, she had no child. Terah took his son Avram, his son Haran's son Lot, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Avram's wife. And they left her of the Kasdim to go to the land of Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they stayed there. Terah lived 205 years, and he died in Haran. Haftarah Yesha Isaiah 50:1 55:5. 50:1 Sing, barren woman who has never had a child, burst into song, shout for joy, you who have never been in labor, for the deserted wife will have more children. Then the woman who is living with her husband, says Adonai, enlarge the space for your tent, extend the curtains of your dwelling, do not hold back, lengthen your cords, make your tent pegs firm. For you will spread out to the right and the left, your descendants will possess the nations, and inhabit the desolated cities. Don't be afraid, for you won't to be ashamed. Don't be discouraged, for you won't be disgraced. You will forget the shame of your youth, no longer remember the dishonor of being widowed. For your husband is your maker. Adonai Tzvaot is his name. The Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer. He will be called the God of all the earth. For Adonai has called you back, like a wife abandoned and grief-stricken. A wife married in her youth cannot be rejected, says your God. Briefly I abandoned you, but with great compassion I am taking you back. I was angry for a moment, and hid my face from you. But with everlasting grace, I will have compassion on you, says Adonai your Redeemer. For me this is like Noach's flood, just as I swore that no flood like Noach's would ever again cover the earth. So now I swear that never again will I be angry with you or rebuke you. For the mountains may leave and the hills be removed, but my grace will never leave you, and my covenant of peace will not be removed, says Adonai, who has compassion on you. Storm-ravaged city, unconsoled, I will set your stones in the finest way. Lay your foundations with sapphires, make your windows shine with rubies, your gates with garnet, your walls with gemstones. All your children will be taught by Adonai. Your children will have great peace, in righteousness you will be established, far from oppression, with nothing to fear, far from ruin, for it will not come near you. Any alliance that forms against you will not be my doing. Whoever tries to form such an alliance will fall because of you. It is I who created the craftsman, who blows on the coals and forges weapons, suited to their purpose. I also created the destroyer to work havoc. No weapon made will prevail against you. In court you will refute every accusation. The servants of Adonai inherit all this. The reward for their righteousness is from me, says Adonai 55:1. All you who are thirsty, come to the water. You without money, come, buy, and eat. Yes, come, buy wine and milk. Without money it's free. Why spend money for what isn't food, your wages for what doesn't satisfy? Listen carefully to me, and you will eat well. You will enjoy the fat of the land. Open your ears, and come to me. Listen well, and you will live. I will make an everlasting covenant with you. The grace I assured David, I have given him as a witness to the peoples, a leader and lawgiver for the peoples. You will summon a nation you do not know, and a nation that doesn't know you will run to you. For the sake of Adonai your God, the Holy One of Israel, who will glorify you. Berit Hadashah Mattityahu, Matthew 20:36-44, Luke 17:26-37, Matthew 20:36. But when that day and hour will come, no one knows, not the angels in heaven, not the Son, only the Father, for the Son of Man's coming will be just as it was in the days of Noach. Back then, before the flood, people went on eating and drinking, taking wives and becoming wives, right up till the day Noach entered the ark. And they didn't know what was happening until the flood came and swept them all away. It will be just like that when the Son of Man comes. Then there will be two men in a field, one will be taken and the other left behind. There will be two women grinding flour at the mill, one will be taken and the other left behind. So stay alert, because you don't know on what day your Lord will come. But you do know this: had the owner of the house known when the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and not allowed his house to be broken into. Therefore you too must always be ready, for the Son of Man will come when you are not expecting him. Luke 17:26. Also, at the time of the Son of Man, it will be just as it was at the time of Noach. People ate and drank, and men and women married, right up until the day Noach entered the ark. Then the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, as it was in the time of Lot, people ate and drank, bought and sold, planted and built. But the day Lot left Sodom, fire and sulfur rained down from heaven and destroyed them all. That is how it will be on the day the Son of Man is revealed. On the day, if someone is on the roof with his belongings in his house, he must not go down to take them away. Similarly, if someone is in the field, he must not turn back. Remember Lot's wife. Whoever aims at preserving his own life will lose it, but whoever loses his life will stay alive. I tell you, on that night there will be 2 people in one bed, one will be taken and the other left behind. There will be 2 women grinding grain together, one will be taken and the other left behind. 2 men will be in a field, one will be taken and the other left behind. They asked him, "Where, Lord?" He answered, "Wherever there's a dead body, that's where the vultures gather."